Soldier of Christ reporting for duty. How's it going, everyone? Hope everyone's doing well and staying safe. Long story short, my friend just texted me that there was this girl he knew for 2 years. He was really close to her, and their families were also very close as well. And long story short, what happened is they were at a party, and that he told me that he got friend zoned really hard, and that he had all the signals that everything was working out well, that if he asked her, then she would say yes, but ultimately in the end, after those 2 years, she ended up saying no. And it's really hard when things like that happen, but something we need to realize though is that us as humans, we tend to think about things in short term, and we don't tend to think about things in the long term. And in reality, for us Christians, God is looking out for us, and we don't necessarily see the bigger picture just yet. So something that ends up happening usually is that in retrospect, we begin to see what God has set up for us. For an example, there are a lot of people that I used to be friends with, that used to be like really good Christians and stuff, and they've gone down a really dark path. And it sometimes hurts to see some of those friends you used to have reject you, but it was all part of God's plan, because God didn't want you to be friends with those people. God didn't want you to be with those person, because he has other plans for you. And we need to understand that as Christians, because a lot of times when God says no, we so bad want him to say yes. A lot of times we want to, pray for something to happen, pray for something that, God will allow something to happen and he will help us through it. But in reality, sometimes God says no to something we want him to say yes to. So something that we can do as Christians is to pray to God, because when we pray to God, we begin to understand, we begin to see that, it might be best for us to, to abstain from trying to, say yes to what God has said no to. Because a lot of times when we go against God's will, it ends badly for us, and we go down a path that God doesn't want us to go down to. But, ultimately what I said to my friend is that, even though she said no, it's probably best, because a lot of times, sometimes when we see someone and, we see someone that we think, are out for us, a lot of times, not to say it is in this situation, but a lot of times, it's more of a falsehood. A lot of times, they're trying to portray a certain image to get what they want. They're trying to portray something to be able to benefit from, having that image, so, they can reap the benefits without having to sort of stay in with the commitment. So, a lot of times it's best to just understand that, God has a plan, better than any of us could imagine. So, sometimes when we get hurt and stuff, and when we get friend zoned and whatnot, it's for the better good of God. When we are working with God, we can understand that God is for us and that he isn't against us. So I just wanted to get this out there. I hope it helps anyone that has perhaps been struggling with something similar. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, Soldier of Christ, out.